And I, I think that um, the thing that bothered me the most was
Mhm.
that I, the 19-year old didn't want to go on this trip to save his soul, but he did it for his dad. It was important to his father. He was terrified. They said the aunt said he was terrified, and then he did it for his dad. That took me out as a mother. I
Right.
think that's the part that touched me the most. So yeah.
So, as a entrepreneur,
Hmm.
what's the most important thing that you passed on to your son? Like, what's the most important lesson?
Man, I passed so many lessons on to them. I think I always tell my kids, like, I always been a go-getter. So it's not on me, it's always within me. You understand what I mean? I
Mhm.
strive for customer service daily. That's my background. When I was in corporate, that's what I did. Customer service from banking to telecommunications to retail. That's what I did. So it's easy to me. It easily flows off. It naturally flows off my tongue. Like we was talking, I strive to be a perfectionist. That's just in me. Even though I know things aren't perfect, I'm very anal, and I will go until I get it right. I will find a resolution for all of them. So I tell them, like, though they are given things, I say on a gold platter. I don't say silver. They have to work for whatever they want. It's important because ain't nobody gonna give it to you. They may not have the experience what I experienced coming up. Like, my mother was a single parent.
Mhm.
Sometimes we went without lights. Sometimes we went without heat. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, or food. You know what I mean? Or hot water. They never had the experience that. I'm grateful to God for that. I don't never want them to experience that. So, but I tell them, you got to get out and do it the same way. You gonna have a family one day, wife, kids. My oldest son tells me, I don't know if I'm getting married. I don't know if I want a girl, a girlfriend, a wife, and none of that because you're the only girl I trust. So,
Oh, well, let's
yes.
pause right there for a second.
Hmm.
So welcome everyone. Y'all caught us in the middle of a conversation because you know how sometimes you just meet somebody and the energy is just there and it flows. So today is one of those conversations, but I'm going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself. So I want to welcome everybody to season 2 of Millionaire Soulmate Charm School. Season 2 is all about being a boss and building a fabulous business. So I'm going to have a group of guests on who are successful. They're living their life. You'll be able to relate to them. They will motivate you and just show you some tips and some tools that come when building your dream business. So today's guest is the Queen of Taxation. So I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and tell you about her business. Go ahead, love.
Okay, so my name is Nariyah Sims. I'm from Elizabeth, New Jersey, born and raised. The name of my company is GWAP Financial Services. GWAP is the acronym for God, Wealth, Assets, Prosperity. And it goes exactly in that order because God has to always be the head in order for you to obtain the wealth, the assets, and the prosperity. So here at GWAP, we do everything that you could think of financial, from credit repair to taxes to payroll to life insurances to business funding to business credit. And I'm gonna stop right there. I also do offer business courses for entrepreneurs looking to get into the field of whatever. It could be trucking, it could be pilots, it can be taxes, it could be credit repair, it could be Amazon, anything you could think of. We do offer business courses for the seeking entrepreneur. I have two children, two sons. They are 13 and 15. If I'm not spending time in the office, I'm definitely with them.
So, how do you manage to build a business, Nariyah, with kids? Tell me about the balance between that.
Yeah, so the balance that I have with that, I got to say, is my support system from my mother to my brother to my children's father. I have a support system. From the time I wanted to go to school and study some things, I had a support system. And then when I got into business, I had them also still for support. So I've been a entrepreneur, I want to say, for the last 4 years. Sole entrepreneurship. That's all I've been doing. And during my time of entrepreneurship, it was mainly my support system.
That is beautiful for a woman to say that she actually has a support system, because so many women want to build their dream business, but they don't necessarily have a support system. So, Nariyah, what decisions do you feel like you made that actually allows you to live the type of life where you actually do have a support system? Was there any specific decisions that you think played into that?
Um, I think I will say the reason why I got into, being just a sole entrepreneur, I realized working for other people that I will come into organizations and run their whole business. I'm a quick learner. I'm very skillful. So you could just show me one time and I'm gonna do it. And then when I realized that I'm coming in, I'm running your whole business, and that you can just take it away from me at any time, I said, "Oh, I'm not doing this no more." And so, um, the last company that I worked for, I was 35. That was the very last company, and it was something I really loved doing, was more ministry, which was working with at-risk youth. Financial is my career, but my ministry is in the fields of at-risk youth and being a domestic violence advocate and liaison. So those are things that I like doing in ministry wise. In this company, I dealt with a lot of jealousy and corruption, and so once I got over that and healed a little bit, I said, that's it. I'm not never going back. And I just, got back into my craft, because credit repair and taxes was something I did on the side. And in corporate, that was my job, was corporate. And I hung up corporate and came over to the financial field, and I studied more about what I was offering so that I could stand out from other, credit repair and tax organizations.
That is awesome. So I love the fact that you are really God-based and you have placed God into your business, because a lot of people, they say business and God don't belong together. And I've had to tell them, yes, they do. Like, I'm
Yes, it
not
do.
taking God out. I don't know if you don't understand, but it's perfectly fine, because this is what I'm doing. So for you, I just love that guap, just such a beautiful thing. And I know people, when you tell them what it means, like, they get really excited. So earlier, before we started recording, Nariyah, we were talking about perfectionism. Tell me how perfectionism plays a good part in your business, and how perfectionism and OCD plays a bad part in your business.
So the good part about the perfectionism in my business, I document a lot. And the reason why I document a lot, no matter how good you can be in business, how good your customer service is, sometimes, and I'm going to say, for the lack of better words, you have janky customers. And with having janky customers, if you don't have documentation and boundaries set in place, they will try you. I've had instances where, they wanted to go to the BBB. And those are the ones that I love, because, back in high school, I was a good journalist. And so I always kept notes, even though that's not my career. I always kept notes. And I had to always come back with my notes and my documentation for customers. So I got contracts in place, like I said, and boundaries. How it plays bad in the business is I'm too anal. Sometimes things won't get launched on time because it has to be of perfection. If I'm missing something, I have to cross every T and dot every I. Even if I'm redirecting you to a URL after your payment, it has to be correct. The thank you note after you purchase something has to be correct, or submit a form, it has to be correct. And then my staff are always complaining, like, girl, what? The way they label an envelope, the way that I have to keep the office tidy, even if it's busy, busy, busy. I can't function in a workplace that's not together. So that's the only way that it plays bad. But other than that, I wouldn't change anything.
I love that you have the two examples of perfectionism. So in entrepreneurship, we have a really important question that we ask entrepreneurs. Why do people come to you to get their taxes done, Nariyah, versus just going to some big place like H&R Block that's like corporate?
Hmm. So in the tax business, I expended a lot with my tax services. So I don't only do individual taxes, I do corporation taxes and I do self-employment taxes. And then I also teach them, going into the following year, I do tax strategy, teaching them about how much they should be allowing coming out their paycheck, because sometimes they don't let them take out enough taxes. Um, or how to structure their business properly, for deduction purposes where they can save money. You get what I'm saying? Or maybe they need to structure over from an LLC to a corporation so that they could take, the bigger tax side, the bigger tax deductions and the tax credits and things like that. So a lot of people come to me because I do sit down. You don't just come in my office and I process your taxes and send you on your merry way. Those the things that H&R blocking them do, and then they have, they done took $1,000 or $2,000, and you don't even know why. You just had a W-2. You don't know what you're supposed to do or what happened or nothing. I really sit here and take time to educate you while you come and get the service.
Oh, that's beautiful. So what inspired you to go into taxes? Or is it the numbers helping people? Like, what about you inspired this business?
So I went into one of these big name corporations to get my taxes done. One year I had just had my oldest son, so that was about 15 years ago. And I had a C-section with him. And I pointed this out for a reason, because I went and got my taxes done and I got gypped. And I had a C-section. Yes, and I had a C-section, and I stayed in the hospital for 3 days before they released me. So I came home on a Sunday, and on a Monday I was at that tax office because y'all not gonna play with me on my money. And
Right.
so after I realized that this is what you were doing, I went right on ahead and educated myself and opened up my business. Started from home and everything.
Wow, that's beautiful. So they just struck a chord and you went right into it.
Hmm. It was the same thing with credit repair. A big known person, she's known. I paid her $900. I was working, and I said, you know what? I'm working all these hours. Me and my kids need a house. I'm gonna get my stuff together because I wanted to learn how to grow my credit into more points, how to build my credit, because I went down and sat with a realtor, said, this is what you make the money, but this is what you need. This is how your credit profile is supposed to be structured so we can approve you for, a higher loan. And I went to a person, trusted her, jit me $900. $900. I say, what? I don't work for people to be stealing from me. People must think I'm really stupid or something. So after I said choice words, I went and continued to start studying consumer law. But prior to that, I was into financial advising. It was a lot of things I was doing without certifications because I had friends that came into, like, they was homeless and they
Mm-hmm.
needed a better life and they needed to know how to do this and do that and how I pay this off and how. So I was doing these things already with family and friends and not even realizing the talent that I possessed because I was too busy working for someone else and pouring into their organization instead of my own.
Oh, so you woke up and realized you had your own oil.
My own oil.
I love that. There's a story in the Bible about the widow that went to Elijah
Mhm.
about these men going to kill her son because her husband died and left them with debt, and how Elijah basically, people, I don't know if people know this, but the story is about we all have our own oil, right? And you use that oil to make profit. And at the same time, you can further the kingdom, but you have to know what your oil is. So
I remember
basically,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
I
people.
remember that story. I do. I didn't realize it tied into me and what I'm doing, but I do remember that story.
Yeah, it's interesting because it took no thought. You just it like they upset you, and you was just like, okay, because you're perfectionism. You want to serve people. You always want to do great. You want to give people good things. So you're like, hey, I'll start the business. So you already realized like you had the oil. It's like you was just it was
Yes,
fast. Like your flow, you
I
walked right in it.
I did. I turned my pain into profit. I didn't get up here and write no long stories. I didn't do any blasting or no subliminals. I just turned my pain into profit. You're gonna have to watch me from the other side. That's
Oh
it.
boy. Amen. So a lot of entrepreneurs, especially women, when you first get started in business, there's so many emotions, there's fears. How did you quell your fears, focus, and then get your company as profitable as it is? Because I've like watched your growth online. Like your business just grows really, really, really fast. So
does.
yeah.
It does. I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. I had to heal first. I had to heal. Um, I am a domestic violence survivor. I was in two abusive marriages. I made it out of both of those marriages and still live life regularly. You know what I mean? Mentally and emotionally, though, I was messed up. So even though I had all these attributes with, good customer service and providing this and educating folk, I still had the demons that I were battling on the inside. And it wasn't just from my abusive marriages, it was from, abusive friendships or shady friendships and, me pouring into other people and not reciprocating because what I had to realize is that, some people were just my assignment. I had no business getting attached to them. But see, um, being a victim of domestic violence, it allowed me to look for love in areas that I shouldn't have been looking for love, whether it was in the friend or the next man or wherever it was. So I took 3 years, because I just came off my journey. I moved to another state where nobody didn't know my name, nobody didn't know me. You understand what I mean? And I became like a hermit. And so while I was in another state, I focused more on my business and I prayed a lot. I prayed. The power of prayer and manifestation is something serious. And I got into it. Even with manifesting and praying, I needed to know, first of all, that I was in the right atmosphere, that the right spirit was around me, because you got to be careful when you say your spirituality. You have to explain what spirituality is because everybody spirituality isn't the same. And I'm a PK, so I grew up in the church. There's always tradition. I grew up in a Christian Baptist church, so there's always tradition that you must follow according to the church. But one thing that I did was I sought out God for myself, and I found God in places that the church told you to not look. And so sometimes you will find me at the river. Sometimes you will find me at a pine tree. You understand what I mean? And to be honest with you, I let fresh air hit me. Which allowed my mindset to change, which allowed me to get into my business more and study more about what it is that I was wanting to offer. Wrote it down in a notebook, had stickies on the wall, my mirror when I went to the bathroom, in the kitchen, outside, in the car, whatever. This is what I did. I meditated. I changed the music I was listening to. I changed phone calls. I didn't let everybody infiltrate my mind. I closed my ear gates to certain things. This is what I did. And at the same time, I had the support of my family because they had my kids. I was in one state and my kids was back here in New Jersey. And I'm gonna tell you, it was the hardest thing as a mother to be separated from them. But I also had to understand too that if I ain't no good, they ain't gonna be no good because I ain't gonna have nothing to offer them.
Preach, ladies. If you can't
So
take care of your kids without taking care of yourself first. Like always remember that if mommy good, then the kids will be good. But if you not good, everything falls apart. Go ahead.
That's right. In the book of Philippians, I think it's chapter 4, where it teaches us to be anxious for nothing, but everything comes by prayer and supplication.
I love
And
that.
that's exactly what I did. So I took that time and then I came back to a place here where the abuse happened, where the memories was. And I was shocked, like, oh my gosh, I overcame, the things that used to hurt me didn't. The people that I didn't, want to see or did things that I could just be right past. It was like so regular for me.
Mhm.
I don't know how. I'm to this day, I be sitting here like, wow, because I just thought I was never coming back home. I was done, you know. But I'm back here on assignment, and as I go through my daily working day and come across projects and people that reach out to me, I'm great. I tell God, thank you. I know why I'm here now. You know what I mean? So I couldn't operate in this place if I never changed my mindset, if I never healed from the things that held me back.
God is good. So what I
Mhm.
heard from you, Nariyah, is that you went home to nature, and it was nature that helped you heal up fast. And the thing about nature is it's available to all of us, well, most of us, free ones, at any time, and
Mhm.
you can access it. So, what do you think took so long for you to access nature and realize its healing benefits?
I think that I had a problem with holding on to history. You know what I mean? I felt
Mhm.
like I couldn't let individuals go because, oh, I knew them this long, or we were friends this long, or, we used to laugh like this, or we used to talk like this, or we used to do this. It was always me holding on to the history that helped me back from healing from what I need to heal from and help me back from seeing who they were as people, you know? Um, I don't know what it was about that nature, but it was something about that nature. You know what my ancestors really guided me, guiding my ancestors to protect me throughout the whole thing. I was even spiritually, I saw different, I heard different. I don't know how to explain it. Like if you are one, like you said, the free ones, then you know exactly where I'm coming from today. Um, but it was really, I'm telling you, it was more about my spirituality, my discernment, my prophetic, all of that kicked in. And that's because I wasn't clouded by all the things that drained me and took away from me.
So, Nariyah, are you saying you let go of the past, you let go of the pain, you let go of the hurt, and you dropped the baggage too?
I sure did. I didn't want to feel it no more. I was tired of feeling like that. Um, to be very honest with you, before I left to go on my healing journey, I was in a place like, you know what, I'm ready to go. I don't want to be here no more. I was depressed, a little bit of suicidal, a little bit of homicidal. I was ready to go. Um, and then I had like, I don't know if you want to say it's an epiphany or if it's a premonition where I was watching my children at my funeral, breaking down crying. And in this premonition, because I thought I was asleep, I felt their pain and their tears, and I was like, oh, I can't do this to them. And I just woke up like, God, there's gotta be a better way. It can't be this. I surrender. Please fix me, heal me, whatever you need to do. I wasn't even thinking about ministry or business. I just didn't want to feel like that no more as a human being. And I didn't want my kids to feel no type of way if, something had happened to me. So I said, my kids are my life. Like they saved me. So anything about them, I'll be on top of. I can feel them. Even if when I'm far away, I feel them. I know when they're going through. Like my baby son said one time, he came to tell me something like, I'm coming to tell you now because it seemed like every time I feel some type of way, So that's what he said. So I just didn't want to go through with them. And then, like I said, upon me healing, my eyes opened up and I was able to understand what I'm here for and what my assignments were.
That is beautiful. Like I said, I love your business is like a journey with God. So you said something earlier that piqued my curiosity, and you were speaking on everyone's spirituality is different. Can you tell us more about that?
So, like I said before, I'm a PK. Um, I grew up in the church. So you know how you have Christian and you have Kojic and you have Baptist and et cetera, you Muslim, whatever it is, Buddha, whatever. Um, Being in the different religions allows you to study tradition the way that the religions tell you you're supposed to study their tradition. You know what I mean? Like for Muslims, they dress up, they're covered, they don't eat certain foods. Christian Baptists, we go to church and we might study the Bible one way, and then Kojic might study another way. We all in the same books, though, when you think about it. Um, I fell out from tradition. I didn't want to do tradition no more because, believe it or not, church hurt is also a thing. That's something else that I had to get healed from. Church hurt is also another thing. It's real. A lot of people say ain't no such thing. It is a such thing as church hurt. So I fell out of tradition and I found ways to different ways to worship God. Um I found different things at the altar. So like when you go to church, first Sunday is communion, and we have wine. Well, it's really grape juice and crackers. But on my altar, I had crystals, ones that help me deal with stress and anxiety and self-love. You understand what I mean? And healing, so I can come out of trauma that for things that happened to me when I was 7 or when I was 21 or whatever it was that way. Or I use sage to clean my atmosphere when I go and say my prayers or incense or anything like that. These are things that are frowned upon when you're someone that goes to church, when you're someone that grew up in church. But I had to explain to them, like, listen, this is what helped me. I bought me a set of crystal bowls, and I went in. There was a time at the age of 7, where I was molested. I had to heal from that because that opened doors for me to be abused in my relationships. You know what I mean? Whether it was mentally, verbally, and sexually, because I thought that that was love when it was not love. So I had to take me back to a time and use different tools that helped me go back to that time. Again, that's frowned upon in church, but I had to say this. I'm not here wishing ill will on no one with these tools are to help me grow and they're to help me heal. And if this is what's working to get me to a place, let it be just that. Don't overthink what I'm doing because you're used to your tradition. Let me get to where I need to be as a person so that I could be better for you and for me. That was it.
Right. So the thing I've learned about spirituality, when it comes to Christians in particular, we have to have a deeper yearning for God past just the surface of what we see in the Bible and
That's
what we
right.
hear at church. So what do you think, what was your thought process, or what was it about you that triggered the spiritual awakening and the journey of awareness of, God being more than we were taught?
So for me, one thing that I never did was I never took God out of nothing. I might have removed the building from me, from my heart, or from my access, but I never took God out. So anything that I was doing, I always was nervous at first, like, are you sure, like saying to myself, I was having conversations with myself, like, I just want to make sure I'm not using the wrong things, like the wrong crystals. I'm not doing the wrong thing by even using crystal. Like that's how I was, because again, I grew up in church, and then I had spiritual leaders that I will call and talk to and counsel to. I had two spiritual leaders during the time of my healing that I would call, one male, one female, that I would call and talk to, like, listen, I need to ask you about this. And am I wrong for doing this? And am I wrong? And then I had a godmother too. She's I have two godmothers. And I reached out to one in particular, who is a pastor, you know what I mean, as well. And I spoke to her, and she said, there's such thing as white magic and black magic. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with you using these different tools. If this is what's helping you, baby, that's what she say, then you do it. I'm going to support you for it because you're doing nothing wrong. You know what I mean? So it felt good to have a little bit of support from people in church that knew exactly what I was talking about.
Amen. Spirituality. That's what I love about spirituality is that it manifests slash attracts your tribe really, really fast. Like once you make even a little bit of the shift, it's like they're right there. And the more you go into the shift, like the more you begin to attract like-minded people. So a lot of you are out there, you're like, oh, nobody supports me, nobody understands me. It's you making a decision to shift to a higher frequency that attracts people who are aligned with you and people who understand you and know how to speak to you in a way that will continue to allow your growth versus people who want to keep you in a box because of their belief system. I think that's what spirituality is really about. It's about people who have an understanding that there's something higher out there, there's a power, but also we are each having our own individual separate journey and doing the best we can to figure out things that you're never going to figure out, which is life.
We ain't gonna never figure that out.
Right. So y'all just stop trying to figure it out and just do what you do and enjoy it. Really, like enjoy the journey, enjoy the ride. So Nariyah, now that you have a successful business, you have your kids, you're thriving, you're popping on social media, you're healed, you have your glow up, and you're just past the past, you're over it, you let it go. What are some lessons that you have in businesses and relationships now for other people, other women who are upcoming on a journey, especially women who experience toxic or narcissistic or abusive relationships and now they want to go start a business?
That was a lot to unpack. Let me see. Where do I begin?
We can start with the victim statement.
Which victim statement?
Are you a victim?
No, I survived.
There we
I'm
go.
a survivor.
So there's people who, women who, when the abuse happens, they want to be the victim instead of the victor.
Exactly. So one of the things that helped me with that is taking a step back and taking responsibility for the parts that I played also. Whether I shunned my eyes to red flags, whether I retaliated in ways that I shouldn't have retaliated, whether I allowed myself to open up doors that I shouldn't have opened up, I still took responsibility for the parts that I played in all the madness, whether it was in business or relationships. That's the first thing. Take responsibility for your actions. That's the first thing. Secondly, stop telling everybody your business. Stop telling everybody your ideas. Write it down. Give it to God. Let them see when you launch. That's it. Because I've learned that I've had a couple of people, even through my healing journey, the devil still tried me. I'm not saying that I never was tried. I'm not saying that I didn't have obstacles in the healing journey. Healing is a continuous thing. Because there's times that I myself can get triggered. Something might come up and you be like, you know, the difference is now I know how to handle it versus back then when I didn't know how to handle it. I've had people come in and act like, oh, I'm so proud of you. Well, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then you got your whole blueprint. Y'all got y'all friends or whatever. Y'all talking every day. You got a whole blueprint. Whole time they behind you trying to snake it from under your nose. You understand what I mean? So you have to be careful with being so vocal about your business. That's the third thing. As an entrepreneur, do not be afraid to set boundaries. Do not be afraid to fire people. And I mean like customers, business partners, business ventures. If it's not working for you, don't be afraid to say no. Because if your inner man is feeling funny they're right. Your intuition is always going to be right, and it's never going to lead you in the wrong direction. And once you say no and you come up out of it and you just sit back and be quiet and observe, you'll see why God whispered a little something to your ear and told you not to do it. This is how it comes. Don't ever despise small beginnings. Even when the mirrors is looking smoky, don't despise. Keep going, keep pressing on. It took me years. We on year 4 to build my business. Years. And get it, property structure how I want. It's still some stuff I want to add, but I really gotta slow down. Because like you said, I'm rapidly growing. Um and picking up things. I'll be on one project. In the middle of that, and something else that comes to my mind, and I'm on that, and then I'm all over the place. So take your time, grow your business. Don't despise small beginnings, and please, please, please don't leave God out of it. Gotta have a prayer life and entrepreneurship. If not, you're gonna lose your mind. I'm telling
Amen. For real, for real.
you. Mm-hmm. You're
So,
gonna lose your
Nariyah,
mind.
out of all, I see you post your client wins all the time, and
Yeah.
like the massive refunds a lot of your clients end up getting. So, what is like your favorite story or your favorite client you ever worked with?
Every year I get new clients that'll say, "Oh, I went somewhere, or I went to such and such, and this happened and that happened, and I don't understand why. Oh, or why this or why that." My favorite story is when they come in and I let them know, the credits that they're eligible for. They might not know they could have did this, as self-employed, or they could have had this even as a employee. You could write off your parking or your tolls, or if you was on the bus or whatever. I do get down into itemized deductions. Like that's what I do. I get down with the deductions. I don't really have a best story, with clients. I think I have a best story more with staff because I had people coming in to me their first year. They knew nothing about taxes, nothing, but made 5 figures. One of them reached out to me 2 nights ago and they was like, I just want to thank you. Not even an employee. This was a mentee. Because again, I teach classes too. So he came and said, yo, I just want to tell you that I love you and I thank you so much. It's not even about you posting your results that makes you the goal. What makes you the goal is that you teach us how to go and get a bag. Never in my life I thought I could make $80,000 from this tax. He knew nothing about doing taxes. He just took my tax class and boom, 80,000. And he has a 6 figure other business and came and made 5 figures his first year doing taxes. So I think that next year he gonna be thriving real big.
Oh wow, I could totally see your heart lit up when you started talking about this gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
So, what made you go from not only doing the taxes, doing the credit repair, to actually teaching other people how to do it?
So you know how we always posting my clients' wins? People started to inquire, like they wanted to know how you get that much money, and how you do this and how to do that. So I was like, okay, I built a class, an online class. Um, Basically he offer the information that's provided to us on the IRS because we do have to study. Like if you ever wanted to be an enrolled agent or anything, they have different topics and publications. And so I just took like the basics of taxes and I put it together in a virtual course and I sold it. And people take my class, and then I'm also a service bureau, so I sell my own licensed tax software. So when they take my class, I throw in the software. So you come, you get the class in the software too, and you're gonna teach me how to work on the software and put all this stuff in there. It'd be blowing their mind.
That's beautiful. I love that you have multiple sources of income
Mhm.
based upon walking in your field in your lane. Like a lot of people say you need multiple sources of income and they try to go get 7 things. And it's like it's
Mhm.
all under guap right now, but it's all related.
All related. I do have like other businesses that I do, but I don't be paying them no attention. Like I pay attention to Guap. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think I want to hire people to run those other kinds of businesses, but guap is definitely my baby and it's going places.
Wow. So I would love for you to let the people know, how can people contact you, Nariyah?
So they could contact me through my business page or my direct number. I don't never leave that out, which is post this what is it, 908-720-3243. It's my direct line. The phone's sitting over there lighting up right now. It's my direct line. You can always reach me. Cause that's another thing. I always get clients be like, "Oh, you answer your phone?" I'll be looking at them like they crazy. Like, yeah, it's the phone. People don't answer their phone. I'm telling you, some of these business owners is janky, but I mind the business that pays me. Um,
Amen.
they be like, "You answer your phone?" So yeah, I always answer my phone if I'm up. No time of the day, no matter the time of day or night, I answer the phone. I text back, whatever. But they could contact me on that line or my email, which is Nariyah@guapfinancial.org, or my business page, which is Guap Financial Enterprises Incorporated. On social media, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on TikTok, you could find me. It's easy.
So you understand social media, Nariyah. That's also something that I love about you, that a lot of people ignore social media. You like, no, I got the offline and online game together.
That's it. That's it. I think that my biggest struggle with social media is like I have the content, like I create content, but it's just always posting, posting, posting. I'm about to hire somebody just to post on for me because I can't do it no more. But I be up there. I really like telling more of my personal stuff. Like, relating with the people because sometimes, when you're in business, people think that for some reason, they think that you're not human and that you're not like them. But a lot of me is relatable. I think that's the part where the ministry comes in. So they gonna learn though. My book gonna drop. My
You gotta
ordination.
drop it. We like books over here. What
I
book you have
know, I
dropped?
know, I know. It's just that it took me a minute to get the courage. Like every time I write a page of this book, I type it, I cry. And I know that is the part of me that is shutting off, but I cried bad. And my book is late because I be crying, and nervous, and like, what are they gonna say? And
Well, make
it's
sure you come back once you drop the book and tell us about it, because we would definitely love to hear about it. And your personality is off the chain too. So I know there will be some really good stories in that book. So I want to thank you so much, Nariyah, for coming to join us. So many women will be touched, inspired, and motivated by your testimony, by the success of your business, and just your complete journey and how you do remain like this humble being in God, despite your success. So thank you